Greetings, freaks and folks, this is Vlad the Lad. Not a new champion, but at least new cards to talk about, so let's go over them. So if you're into Legends of Runeterra content and you love the game as I do, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel as I cover a lot of content at that. And today we had a bit of surprise. I thought we would get our first champion to reveal, and I was ready to do my reaction on that, but it turned out we don't get a champion yet. Instead we got a total of 9 cards, but it ended up not being a real 9 cards. But I still wanted to go over them as I was kind of prepared to do a video today, so let's actually start here. I will start by the 3 cards from yesterday. I didn't talk about them because I thought it was a bit too few cards to talk about. We'll do this real quick. The Blade was showed as a kind of teaser. We saw in the whole artwork that Aurelia is actually the champion that was teased with that. So it's her blades that get summoned, I guess, because that's why it doesn't have the rarity gem to it. And I guess the text is just another version of being ephemeral, right? But I didn't want to go with ephemeral keyword, I guess, for not having an potential ephemeral synergy there. So it's sort of, I guess, weaker than an ephemeral unit at that point. But it seems it has, yeah, we will see what Aurelia does, right? But it will be some sort of thing that she summons. Then we have Chip, the little boy that everyone was freaking out about. I thought, like, yeah, he's okay-ish. Like, he is a sort of not Doom Beast, the Bark Beast or Targan. It's okay, it's decent, but I wouldn't say it's besides it's very adorable, of course. I don't think it's too good of a card. I guess I will include it in some decks to check it out, but I'm not too crazy about it yet. So but what I'm crazy about is this card right here. This is the Clockwork Curator. Something that actually not that many were having an eye on. Like, even I viewed the video from Swim, and he was talking like 30 minutes or 40 minutes about these 3 cards. He was like milking them, but it turned out he didn't even consider that Clockwork Curator is turning down the countdown for the Frozen Thrall, which is the reason why I'm so excited about this card, because I created a deck that's called For My Lady. I will put up a link to the video up there, where I wanted to build around the Frozen Thralls. And in that video I said that, and also with Promising Future, this is like the main tweak about this, right? So you get multiple from the you can't actually see it from here in Mobalytics, but you get the Frostguard Thralls out, the Aided Overwhelms, and you can actually get 2 out with the Promising Future. So I tried to get this card work, which nobody plays normally, and yeah, now that we have this card, we can be way faster with that. If we drop it in on turn 1 and then we advance it by 2, it's already on counter 5. So it's, you don't even really need, if you curve into that, you don't really need the, what's-his-face, the Draclon Inquisitor to actually get proper value of this, or quick value of this card. As we also have new cards that will advance even more. As we have the first new card from today, the Preservationist. English. It's a hard language. It's a 5-mana 4/4, and it says you advance an allied landmark by 3 rounds, and that's a big deal. Like, this is sort of almost the same effect that the Draclon Inquisitor has, as he is advancing it by 4, as the countdown reaches 4, and he's on the board. He does that on round end, but he doesn't even need to round end. It isn't even a counterable play effect. It's just advancing it like that. Like, it just goes down the 3 rounds, and that's it. The enemy can't deal with it, and you can then if you play it in your round, you can attack right away with your Frostguard Thralls that possibly got out already of that thing. Like imagine having this dude on turn 2 on your first Frostguard Thrall, and then this dude you have on turn 5, you have this body, and then the 8/8 Overwhelm, which is kind of sick to me. And I really, really like to look into that. And yeah, and even if you build it together with the Promising Future, like you play it on turn 3 or 4, because you only need to play them on round 2 and 5. You can obviously do the Promising Future on that, and then you get 2 Frostguard Thralls out of it on turn 5, which is ridiculous. So I'm very, very happy that these cards got added, and that for my lady deck actually gets some extremely decent cards that probably should be an own deck on itself. And my prediction here, like I'm a bit yeah, having my predictions here, but I think it can actually be a meta deck at some point, where the Frostguard Thralls together with the advanced archetype here will be a thing. As we see ZILEAN in this artwork here, which says the next card, Time in a Bottle, predict and advance an allied landmark 2 rounds. So I read this as you first predict and then you advance the predicted card. So the countdown will even be counted down on that very card. So if you predict a frozen thrall, Jesus, it's a tongue twister, then you advance it right away, and it has a countdown of 6 already. So if you pull that out on turn 2 and you draw it the next round, so it will be on round 6 already. So it would be like you played it on turn 1, which is big of a deal, because the inconsistency that this deck has is that I normally don't get the Frozen Thrall on turn 1 as I wanted. Like I have it as a 3-off, and it's not guaranteed that I have it in my open hand, obviously, even though I can aggressive mulligan for that. But the Time in the Bottle is actually a second chance on that to have a, so to say, turn 1 Frozen Thrall. And this is a really, really big deal. Yeah, this is like all of these cards are an auto-include in this deck, in the For My Lady deck. I'm not too sure about the next card. It's the Imagine Possibilities. Like this is the one you main deck, and these are the 2 that got out. This is what I meant by those are not really 9 new cards. It's more like 1 new card, and you convert it into choices where you can either get down the countdown of a landmark by 1. You create a landmark with countdown in hand. That's the thing, but it's random. And this is something, if you look into all these things that have countdown, you should get in a Sanctum, which isn't very nice to have if you don't have a reputation deck. So you pay 3 mana for the 2 lucky finds. It's kind of meh. Also, like the Blight Marine could be okay, but if your deck isn't built around that, you possibly don't want that all your whole board receives 2 damage, right? Soulspire could be okayish. Also, the Immolating Rockbear obviously gets way better as we have all these countdown reducing things. Like the biggest problem of this card was that you lose tempo on turn 2, and then you have to wait 3 rounds to actually get the Grumpy Rockbear out, right? But now you can do it way faster. So this could also be an inclusion in any sort of these decks. But other than that, like Starts at Peak is okayish. Preservarium is very decent as we draw 2 cards. But overall, it's the problem that it has inconsistency in itself, and that it creates something you don't know what you create makes it a bit bad to me. And you have, yeah, the main problem with those cards is also like you have the problem with the, what's its face, the 1 mana 1/1. I will have it here. At burst speed from Demacia, where you get +1/+1, and this is nothing you want to use space on, like card space. Actually, card space in your deck, you want to have some cards where you get value out, because if you top deck something like this card, you're not happy about that. This is just the way I see it, and other than that, only advancing landmarks by 1 round. Like, these are my first impressions. I could be wrong about this, and this could be a very good thing. But yeah, I don't see any very extremely good use. Like, what I could see is that you, like what was thinking before I was recording this video here, if you have something at burst speed where you can get away what the ancient hourglass is going, the status stature. This is a landmark that has a countdown of 1. And this could be really neat, because if you maybe put out the ZILEAN, which we don't know what he does, but maybe he's very powerful and the enemy wants to remove it, then you put your ancient hourglass on your ZILEAN, or whatever unit the enemy wants to remove. And then you can, at burst speed, free that very unit. And you don't pass over initiative, which means you can surprise factor the enemy where he thinks, okay, he's in a status stature, I have 1 more round to chill until this goes off, and then you can, for 1 mana, you only need 1 mana. That's the thing, right? The enemy thinks he's safe, and then you have 1 spell mana left, and you play this card, and you free your big unit that you have in your ancient hourglass and your status stature, and you smack the opponent without him having possibly any answer for that, because he didn't play around it. So this could be a use of it, but other than that, I don't see it as a very good card. And then we have the big guy from ZILEAN, which is the Clock Hand. An 8 mana 4/7, a pretty underwhelming body, if we compare it for example with the Red Way. This is a 4/6, and the effect is that you double any damage, plus you draw a Gangplank. So this is what you need to compare it with in this regard. Like, obviously you can't really compare cards within regions. This is very hard to do. And also, if you don't see all of the other package that comes with it, right? But overall, this is a very sick disbalance, I think, in power, in terms of power. But let's actually see what it does. Because you get probably this card here. This is my best guess. Sort of like you have this card and you get these 2 choices. I think you get this card and you get these 2 choices. Other than that, it could be, because none of those have a rarity gem, because all of them could be created by this card. So either you get 2 of these out and you get to choose what you want to do, or you get 2 random instant sanctuaries out and you get 1 of these free. So either you get advanced landmark for 4 rounds, or you summon a random landmark with countdown, or you have to choose between them. Like, this could be the possibilities. And all of them are already as well okay-ish, right? Again, the same problem, random landmark with countdown. This could be anything. This could be something really bad we see here. This could be an ancient preparations, right? And you then don't even get the play effect to predict something. You get just the countdown to summon a Clockling. And this is the whole value you get out from an 8-cost card that has a 4/7 body with it. The payoff is that you get in 2 rounds another 2/2. This is nothing you want to have on round 8. And this is my whole problem with this card. Like, I love the artwork of it and the whole design of this time travel-ish thing. And also I love ZILEAN. I played back in the time when I played League of Legends. I played a lot of ZILEAN, as I loved his ability of being immortal for some time. And I like these cards, but I have a really hard time valuing this dude here, as this is a very, very late play, and there you want big value. And I don't think this dude provides any. Even the advancing landmarks for 4 rounds, yeah, okay, maybe if you run this deck where you have a lot of Frozen Thralls and you summon them with Lysandra and also with the Dreadclaw Inquisitor, they all summon you with Frozen Thrall, right? And there you can advance the landmark by 4 rounds. Is a neat thing to have. And this is also at burst speed. Like, keep that in mind. Or focus speed. Let's stick to that. Like, burst speed is different, right? You can answer with burst speed. With focus speed you can't answer. You have to sort of slow speed do it proactively. But still, you don't pass over initiative, and that's very important where you play this dude, and then you have those instant sentries out, and you could possibly, if you have one with still 8 counters on the Frozen Thrall, and it is, like I said, where you get to choose, you could use both of them and summon this 8/8 Overwhelm right away. And this would make it way better, I think, like this combination alone. But still, I don't know if this is like balanced in a way. Let's stick to that. Okay, that's everything I've got for you today. Like I said, check out this video of my lady. I guess this is gonna be a very nice deck in the future. It has a promising future. And yeah, I will stop talking at the point and wish you a wonderful day. I guess we'll see us tomorrow already with another video about what my best guess is would be ZILEAN, and I will live reacting on that. So if you don't want to miss out on that, you click that subscribe button and ring the bell. And that's everything. Thanks, stay legendary as always, and Vlad out.